Alright, it is rare for a UFC press conference to get me more excited for a fight because usually I'm always excited, but this was one of those press conferences because the trash talk was just off the charts. So many funny memorable lines which I'm going to be talking about in this video, and we're going to get straight into this. Welcome back guys to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about the UFC press conference. This honestly was the best press conference that we've had in a long time. I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite moments of the press conference, some takeaways I had, putting on my body language expert hat on, and then at the second half of the video I'm going to be talking about the potential Logan Paul and Darren Till boxing match. What's going on with that? But before we do that, let's get a few things out of the way. Yes, I got a haircut. I took a lot of y'all's advice. All of you guys are like, get a haircut, get a haircut. Finally happened. Secondly, tomorrow I'm going to be releasing all my UFC 286 picks as well as the Q&A. So go tune in for that at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And finally, some big news today. Yes, today at 2 p.m. in 4 hours, I'm going to be live right here on the channel reacting to the ceremonial weigh-ins. There's not going to be any official weigh-ins this time. There's only the ceremonial weigh-ins, no official ones. So we're going to be reacting to that on the channel, talking about what I think, see if anyone misses weight, and we're going to see what's going to happen with that. And tomorrow night after the UFC pay-per-view, I'm going to go live immediately talking about my thoughts on the pay-per-view. So yes, we have a packed schedule this week, and let's go talk about the press conference. Alright, so this press conference, like I said, normally I always watch the press conference, and sometimes we have a few duds. Let's be honest, the last press conference was Cyril Gane and John Jones. Alright, the Makhachev one wasn't really that good. There wasn't even one for the Glover fight in the beginning of the year, but this was the first one that I was like, wow, this is a fun press conference. I don't mind it because the trash talk between Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards is really good, because usually Kamaru has kind of bad trash talk. It's pretty cringe most of the time. I mean, sometimes he has occasional good lines, but this time he had a lot of good lines. It seems like Kamaru Usman, and reasonably so, has a lot more, I don't want to say hatred, but disdain towards Leon Edwards, just because Leon has officially kicked his head to another dimension. So the press conference starts off, kind of just started off kind of cordially. Most of them kind of answering the questions as you normally guess, and then Leon and Kamaru go back and forth. It seemed like Usman wasn't looking to trash talk going into it, but I think Leon's kind of confidence really annoyed Kamaru. Usman is a kind of guy that likes to break his opponents, and just seeing this confidence, I think, didn't necessarily shake Usman, but it just didn't sit well with him. So I think that's why the trash talk kind of started between them. And look, I don't know about you guys, Usman seemed a little off to me. Now, I feel like in his past press conferences, he's looked like the guy. He seemed like the pound for pound king, but it just seemed like an aura has just been taken away from Usman. And I don't like that for him going into this fight. I think he needs that confidence. Leon seems to be full of confidence, which I'm surprised about. Like, I feel like if I were Leon, I'd be constantly thinking like, oh shit, I got lucky last time, like let me make sure I prepare. But he seems really confident, and like I said, I don't really like that for Usman going into this fight. But then the trash talk started to go down, Leon being like, hey, I just kicked your head into another planet. But Usman had a few good lines. I think it's really underrated. I thought Usman kind of won the press conference, and it's really hard because Usman just got knocked out, right? Because Usman had a lot of great lines talking about how London isn't cheering for Leon, because remember last time Leon used to get booed in the O2. So he is kind of accurate on that. Like, you gotta wonder, if Leon loses, is the love still gonna be there? I'd imagine so, because yes, the love for Leon has definitely increased, but it was just one of those things where yes, Usman would have really good lines, but then all Leon would have to say is this man's concussed, which was just a perfect response. And I was like, damn, like he is just going at Usman.
Don't let him bully you, son.
You awake? You good?
Don't let him bully you, son.
That boy's concussed. You don't know what's talking.
And the crowd too was just cheering for Leon. It was kind of hard for Usman to win. I mean, let's be honest, the odds were stacked against him. But we're gonna have to see on Saturday night. There isn't so much of the press conference that really goes into the fight as much as people say it does. But I just felt like that Leon's confidence is all-time high, and Usman seems a bit off to me. I think maybe his confidence is a little bit shook, and we're gonna see what goes down on Saturday night. I was expecting more Gaethje and Fiziev trash talk, but really they were cordial to each other, especially Gaethje. Gaethje was kind of showing a lot of respect, implying that he might wrestle, which is something that I think he should try to do. But we'll see about that, and let me know what you guys saw of the press conference in the comment section below. Alright, finally I'm going to be talking about Darren Till, Logan Paul in a boxing match. What is going on? So for those of you guys that don't know, Jake and Logan Paul, two different people. Like, let me get this out of the way. Jake Paul's the guy that's been boxing Tyron Woodley and everybody else, and Logan Paul's his brother, who's mostly just fought YouTubers. He fought Floyd Mayweather, for Christ's sake, but other than that, it was more of an exhibition thing, not something to be taken so serious. He was supposed to fight Dylan Dennis in January, and then he got injured because WWE, but now he wants to be back. Now he's going to be returning. And is it against Darren Till? I actually don't think so. I don't think it's against Darren Till, and I'll explain why later. But as we know, Darren Till got out of the UFC. Kind of seems like to me that he got out of the UFC because he's like, hey man, like these injuries, I can't really compete at the highest level. Maybe I'll come back once everything's taken care of, and everything's up in the air with that. But he could also be fighting Nate Diaz. I think he's going to fight Nate Diaz next. There's a lot of evidence out there to support this. I want to credit my guy Wade Plems for finding this. I saw his video finding this, that actually Logan Paul did say after the Jake Paul fight, he kind of implied that he was going to be stealing Jake Paul's opponent, and I take that as Nate Diaz.
Logan. Which means I get to fight the person.
Logan, can I have a prime?
Plus, there's been rumors circulating about WWE going into boxing. I think Nate Diaz is next. I think he's gonna fight Nate Diaz in the summer. Maybe at 185. I mean, Nate Diaz is a small dude compared to Logan Paul. Like, Logan Paul is huge. I don't know how he does against Nate Diaz, but I think Darren Till is a bad move because Darren Till is a pretty big dude. Like you saw in his last fight, he definitely is a 185er now. I think he should have stayed at welterweight, but it is what it is. He's definitely a 185er. He's a big guy. He's about the same height as Logan too. And Logan is pretty bad at boxing. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Logan isn't really good at boxing. You should definitely stay with WWE. Jake is definitely the way better boxer. Logan is just not active. It's a big problem, especially in boxing. It's one thing in MMA not to be active, but in boxing, it's like, come on. We saw how Tyron Woodley did when he wasn't active. Plus, Darren Till's a southpaw. He's a tall dude, tall, rangy. He's a really good striker in MMA. I think Darren Till would win that one. I don't know about Nate Diaz, though. Nate Diaz, he just doesn't have that punch power. I mean, we've seen Logan get tired. It would be an interesting matchup. I'll break down if the fight gets announced. Just off the dome, I don't know. But, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Remember, in 4 hours, I'm going to be returning right here on this channel, St. Patrick's Day. Then tomorrow, I'm going to be back, and then we're going to be talking about everything UFC 286 after the fight tomorrow night and the morning after that. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did, and I'll see you guys in the next one.